I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Magicians After Show on AfterBuzz TV.
Yes, Queen.
Yes, we're talking Season 5, Episode 3, The Mountain of Ghosts. We're ready to get into it. We're going to be talking about the Dark King, who's, he's looking fine. We're going to be talking about traveling with Julia and Penny, and we're just going to be getting right into it, so let's go ahead and do it. I'm Adrienne Snow, and here with me, Ty is not here today, you know.
I know, we
got that
miss
LA life.
him.
He'll be here next week, but Stephanie Sabra, hey girl, how
Hello,
are you?
we miss you, Ty. So glad to be
Yes.
back, though. Wasn't here last week, but
Yeah.
I did watch your coverage. Loved it.
Oh, great.
Per usual.
Great. Thank you. As always, guys, please tune in to the chat if you're there. Say hello, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. We're always there. So let's just go into it then. So we open basically like with Alice discovering that she didn't finish her job, so she still has a piece of Quentin's soul, and that she has to essentially go on this voyage into Fillory. Now here's where I got confused. How did Elliot and Margo and Finn and Josh end up in current time Earth? Like, so is it just Fillory that's all messed up? What were your thoughts?
It
on
was
that?
Fillory that was all messed up.
But how can they end up back on the same time? Why don't they end up 300 years in the future of Earth as well? Or I guess, yeah, because time's different.
I think because
but
they gave the
still.
guy a ham sandwich.
Well, I know they gave the guy a ham sandwich so that Josh and Finn could go forward into Fillory's future. But wouldn't that mean that when they went back to Earth that they would still be off? That they would end up, like, if not 300 years in the future of Earth, still, like, ooh, I don't know, 6
That's a
months
good
in
question.
advance?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was confusing.
Yeah, that was. Whenever there's a time thing, I can't think
know.
about it too much. I do like to point out plot holes, but when it gets to time, I just go with it.
Yeah.
It's you did what you did.
I get it. Okay. Everyone's back on track. Everyone's together.
Stephen, John, Paul in the chat says the portal tree. Also, I am going to be in the chat, so make sure that you stay involved in the conversation
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah. He says, yeah, I know it's the portal tree, so the clock that they use, but
Yeah.
it doesn't account for that difference in time. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it slide this time. So Elliot ends up going on the quest with her, and let's just start right off with them. Well, actually, I'm gonna take that back because I think they have such a big, juicy story.
Yeah, they're
and I
the
want
whole
everyone to
story,
focus on
really.
that. Let's just jump over to Julia and Penny. Everyone's like, Adrienne. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't been the lead host in a
You're
minute.
awful.
So Julia and Penny have decided that they want to stop the end of the world. And so they end up taking off to London, which is a very cute little usage of a side street in Canada. And we meet Zoe Marcus and Daniela Marcus, who are two witches or magicians who specialize in predictive magic. So what were your thoughts on that? On just that whole encounter, on like a whole new physical kids cottage?
I love it. I love more actual black girl magic. Bring it coming.
Yes.
I want more. But I love the characters. I like the little twist of there had been 3 of them, of the sisters. One had died, obviously, in a way that they're clearly not over, which totally makes sense. But I did like it. I think it was interesting. It wasn't too exposition-y for me. It kind of filled in just right. And I loved how the house was the physical kid's house from Fillory.
It's a very savvy move and a very,
Cost efficient.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. Save your ducats. I really enjoyed that. I do always love the introduction of black women in TV shows. I feel like we're not around enough. I see all the black men and shout out, I'm so proud of y'all, but where are we at, you know? And so it was great to see not 1, but 2 black women on screen at the same time.
2.
Playing sisters and have it and just working it. Financial
And
advisor.
already saved the world.
Already saved the world because that's what black women do.
It's true. That's true. You
All
heard
the
it here.
time.
Not first, but you've heard it here again.
So tired of seeing it. So it was just great to see that, and that they were so savvy and knew what was up and were so pleasant, but also like, we have boundaries. This is not what we're not going to do. But we do discover that basically there's going to be a harmonic convergence that happens at the same time as one of the surges of magic, which is basically going to cause another apocalypse. We don't have as much information about what happened in the original apocalypse or what they went through, which I'm hoping we get that fleshed out.
Me too.
But one of the true treasures of that harmonic convergence was realizing that at one point the invention of auto-tune happened because of a harmonic convergence. And I thought that was
I
just
love
a
what-
lovely little treat.
Such good magician's humor. I love when they do that.
Yeah.
But I agree. I would love for them to dive more into their history. I love a good flashback
Yeah.
scene. And it makes sense that the surges are going to play a bigger role in this season because of the outpour of magic.
Yeah.
And I knew that they were going to end up getting on board, but it does bring up an interesting question of when are you done saving the world? Or is it
Yeah.
always kind of your quest if you possess the answers to some things?
I feel like I think if we just took a step back and stopped making things worse, we'd be done saving the world. But yeah, it does kind of make you go like, when will their quest be done? Because every year, not even just speaking of the Marcus sisters, but just with the magicians themselves, they are always trying to save magic or trying to get rid of too much magic or trying to bring back magic. And it's like, oh, when is their quest done? Like, when will this stop being their problem? And also, what's happening with all these other magicians in the world?
Yeah.
And why aren't they doing more?
Yeah. If it doesn't stop, though, let's get them on a payroll.
Yeah.
I need
Think you should
benefits
always
for
get
my
paid.
people.
Exactly. Or at least give me the type of magic that Alice's parents had, where they always
Just
had
like in
wealth
orgies
power
and
never had to worry about bills. Like, give me that type of magic. I actually, in real life, need that type of magic. If you want to give me a magic that'll just pay my bills,
DM me if you have the information.
I will take it.
Thank you.
So we're kind of left on like, this is the oncoming battle with Julia and Penny, and I'm excited to see where they're going to go with that. With that, we go into Finn, Margo, and Josh, who are back in the apartment and trying to find a way back into Fillory to overthrow the Dark King. So I don't know. What were your initial thoughts on seeing them decide to go on another quest to do this Yellow Ferret tournament to battle it out for the removal of her banishment ring?
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could have been fleshed out a little bit more, or it seemed like it was just a way for them to be like, yeah, we fucked, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
But-
Yeah.
And it's giving her this existential crisis that now she's not a good person. So I think that there's some character development. How it happened, I wasn't obsessed with, because even the idea of them only having one woman that's good enough, I get that in Fillory at this time, that's probably how they did things.
But what's crazy is that they're in the future of
Yeah.
Fillory, where they've already had Queen or King Margo, and what is this Dark King, and why is he so sexist? What's wrong with women? Like, that kind of blew my mind that they were in the future and they were dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that in terms of the development, it still goes to show that Margo has a lot to learn in terms of being vulnerable and in terms of being able to say, this hurts me and I don't like that, but I didn't just throw you under the bus. Because I was like, why did she abbreviate the fact that she tried 2 times before to save them? Before
I know.
finally giving up and Elliot coming up
Yeah,
with just
so
a better idea.
I don't know. I think it is a complex look at people in general when we're too hard on ourselves, and I
Yeah.
think Margot's consistently way too hard on herself
Yeah.
for everything she does. So I see a positive arc coming, but now you have like your 2 main homies who just think you're a monster.
Yeah.
And she does deserve to be a little bit upset. Yes, she shouldn't have tried to kill Finn.
I mean, I'm going to give her, it was the werewolf blood, it was the werewolf fire in her that probably caused her to kill her. I don't think she would have done that if it weren't so close to the full moon. And if it just already increases who you already are, right? So
Yeah.
Margot's already been like a fighter. She's already
yeah,
had to
that's
do
my
things.
girl.
Yeah.
That's my girl.
So of course she's gonna kill Finn, and they should have told her sooner. And that's not to say that I love that line that Margo says where she says, "Can I have a complicated emotion about having to resolve it so you can feel better?" Which is so true.
We are on the same page. I wrote that down.
Yeah.
Because that is so true. Emotions are complicated. I can feel
Yeah.
two things at one time, and I don't have to satisfy you.
Exactly. I can be upset. I was like, girl, I feel you.
Great
this
writing.
Whole month.
Great writing.
That sentence, my whole month. But it's like, it's like you can be hurt by something and still not feel like you are owed or you care about that person in a particular type of way. But you can still be like, well, that kind of hurts and that kind of sucks. And no, you're not like betrothed to me, but I still don't have to feel good about this situation, you know? And so I appreciated them having that line, and I do hope we kind of develop Margo still so that she can still be Margo, but also acknowledge that, hey, being vulnerable isn't easy, even if you're a woman. It's not easy for anyone to do it. And I just hope they develop that with her a little bit more.
Yeah, it's just interesting coming off of last episode where Elliot's like, girl, get over this. This is not you.
Yeah.
And when she's relentlessly trying to save them. And then she flashes back and she's like, it was Elliot.
That's what she's got to, I bet, I get it. If the wall goes up and the wall's up, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not letting this wall down. I let it down, and then my feelings got hurt. So screw y'all. Screw everyone.
I feel that.
Yeah, I totally
feel
get it.
that.
Also, there was a nice little touch of being reintroduced to a future Pickwick, who was running the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, of course you're a Pickwick.
Yeah.
Can't trust a Pickwick.
Never.
I love you, Tick. Don't trust you as far as I can throw you. Okay?
Not at all.
Yes. But real quick, before we do go into the bigger portion of the episode, I do want to say, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the AfterBuzz TV family. You really have been here to make us the ESPN of TV talk. As always, please like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, give us that thumbs up, Send in your Apple iTunes reviews on the podcast and everything. We appreciate so much hearing back from you, and we'll get back to the show.
Yes. I want to give a few shout outs. Steven, John, Paul, Billie Jean Girl 24, the Queen of Regal, Renji 90998, Trent King, all of you in the chat. Thank you for rocking with us. You rock.
Yeah, are there any comments on what we've said so far?
That there will always be battles to fight because this is the world of magic. The world will always be endangered, Renji 90998 says.
Oh,
I believe
hates
that.
us.
I believe that. No, says. He says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Shoot.
All right, well, then let's go ahead and move into Elliot and Alice, who I started the show with, and now we're going to end the show with. They go on another quest. Mm-hmm. The old dude, the tour guide, immediately gets wiped out. Like, the one person who's supposed to know what he's doing immediately gets wiped out. I don't know.
Right, take her.
I was like, that's okay. That was That was cute.
Yeah. I know, and they kind of, did you watch The Witcher? Mm-hmm. Gave me The Witcher vibes when they went on the quest for the gold dragon egg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of felt like the stakes were really high and then they weren't.
Yeah.
The quest wasn't that hard.
It wasn't that hard, and then it was a nice way to get them to introduce Sean McGuire, who is the Dark King. And
oh my gosh, do I have news about that? I'm
Yes.
so excited. I know Queen of Regal, I think you were in the Once Upon a Time chat when that show was still on, so really excited to get him on this type of show. But I did love the connection between Alice and Elliot is so complicated, and they really haven't spent much time together, and they've really never liked each other. I mean, he was the one who had a threesome with her man, and all of this really interesting conversation arises because of it, like the idea of ownership and loving one person and controlling someone's love. And then also, like you brought up in episode 1, Elliot's way of grieving is not like anyone else's, and I think this is the closure that we're getting from him, but I really wanted it for him.
Yeah. I still hope he gets more closure than this.
I know.
And maybe that's just me being greedy. I also hope Katie gets more closure than she got with Penny. Like, and I know in real life we don't get that, and Magicians, for all of its magical realms and stuff, tends to lean more towards real life, that sometimes you just don't get closure. But it would be nice for them to have that, even if it's like Being Human closure, where at the end, spoiler for Being Human American version, Sally and Aiden finally find each other. You know what I mean? Like, give me that closure, because you can, because it's fiction.
You've already brought back like 18 different realms.
You brought back so many people. Who cares? But yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's really more so about Alice and Elliot at this point, and them being able to console each other in a way where no other people can console them. Like, they had a love for Quentin that no one else had that type of love, you know, and nobody has the type of love that Elliot has for Quentin, because they died together, you know.
They spent a life
They
together.
spent a life together. They raised kids together, which is also my theory about the Dark King, is that the Dark King might be Quentin's kid. Or the Beast. Like, that's a theory that I have, but who knows?
Whoa.
But just to have that moment where Alice is so clear about, did you not think I knew that there was more, that, you know, I know this is Quentin, and I know Quentin, and he is not mine to own, you know, like,
Yeah.
and that's so true. Just because you've partnered with somebody doesn't mean that partnership is it takes a long, you know, if you want that, it can be for a very long time, and it will have its ups and downs, and people will fall in and out of love. And I don't know. I think about, this is so weird, I think about the Prestige. I don't know. It's a movie with.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's with oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name now, but Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale. There we go, got it. And he plays. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but anyways, there's a moment where the wife is always like, "Do you love me today or do you not?" And when he loved her today, he would say, "I love you today," and when he didn't, he'd say, "I don't love you today." And it's harsh, but when you know the full thing of the story, then you know why he says that.
Complicated.
But that's kind of like the course of relationships sometimes. Is like, you want to believe that you'll always love someone consistently, but sometimes it's like, you know, I don't think I love you as much as I did yesterday.
For me,
In
it's
this
like, I
moment.
will if I love you, I love you.
Yeah.
I might not like you right now.
Exactly. That's true. But I think that's just speaking back to the complications of like Alice and Quentin.
Yeah,
Is that they definitely had moments of, I love you, I don't love you,
Yeah.
I love you. You know?
Yeah, like especially on Quentin's side. I mean, that is really complicated. She
Yeah.
was another a completely different side of her. It was tapped in for a long time, and you really see like the ugliness that she turned into for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it is complicated, and I think that does give her breathing room to understand that of course he probably built a connection with someone else in that time.
Yeah. And also that you're not going to like every facet of a person. And even when she was a Niffin, he still loved her. He actually loved her less when she was back to being Alice and she betrayed them. You know? Like, that's just the complications of that, or Elliot not being able to express those feelings for Quentin. Just being able to get that all out and for them to express their mistakes is a nice
If
thing
we
to
can
see.
learn anything from this and all of the sad things with Kobe Bryant, everything, if you love someone, tell them.
Yeah. If you love someone, you should let them know.
Because life is too short.
It really is.
Even when you have multiple realms of your existence.
And we might. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. I believe anything's possible.
All right. Well, did we have any final thoughts? Oh, just to talk a little bit more about the Dark King. So
Oh, yeah.
he did say that he felt that the takers were like a virus.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if they're going to be playing into like a zombie virus. this
I know. It is interesting if we'll see them again. Also, I love the line where Ellie goes, I think I almost fucked the Dark King.
season. Yeah. What if that's Quentin's son, yo?
Also, like, wish I almost did too.
Oh, I mean, how can you not? But like, also, he did get that little tidbit of his family being from Earth, and so I was like, oh, they're magicians from Earth.
Dude, you're blowing my mind with that
He's
one.
either a Chatwin or he's Quentin's
He's
son.
something.
He's something.
You don't just become royalty in Fillory without
well, you have to
something
have- well,
crazy happening. You have to
yeah.
marry in
Yeah,
or
well,
be in it.
be an Earthling is usually how it
Well,
was for the
but
longest.
Elliot still had to marry.
He just had to be married.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he just had to be
Oh
married.
yeah. You're right.
But
You're
you
right.
have to be children of Earth. Okay. All right. Well, I think let's go ahead and move into news and gossip?
Yeah, we're right on the subject right now. We've been talking about Sean Maguire. He is the Dark King, but he also played Sir Effingham.
Yes.
He was both characters, which is really fun. And if you guys recognize him from Once Upon a Time, that's where I knew him. He is my Robin Hood forever. Totally love him. Really excited to see him back.
Wait, stop. He played Sir Effingham? That just clicked into my head. What?
I was like, why am I not getting a reaction from you?
Because it took me a second to realize. I was like, Effingham, is
Yes.
this about Once Upon a Time? That's
Yes,
crazy.
I know. So he's been in all 3 episodes of the season.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's been in a bunch of other stuff, but I'm glad to see him back in The Magicians. I hope to see him more and more. And then also new character that we've been introduced to is Yetide Badaki.
Yes.
She is one of the sisters that they go. She is the one who
Zoe Marcus.
who made the house. That
Yeah.
was based off the physical kid's house, and she is most notably from American Gods, which I know we were talking about before. I saw you in the chat talking about it as well. So really excited to have both of them on board. I hope to see more of Yetide and the entire sister storyline play out.
Yeah, I think it'd be really be great, and I would hope they wouldn't take those 2 characters, especially actors of that caliber, and just be like, psych, only 2-3 episodes.
So funny. You're going to love this. Just saw on Yetide Badaki's Twitter. She said, hold on, now it's loading. Dude, she said, quote, "We already saved the world, okay? We get to be done." And then she hyphenated black women everywhere.
Black
Hashtag
women
the magicians.
everywhere.
She
Everywhere.
was already on the same page as us before we started talking. Hell yeah.
Listen, okay? Y'all need to listen to black women.
Oh my God, I'm following
You're trying
you.
to save the world. Listen, I need, what was it, 95% of us?
Oh my God,
Just
yes.
saying.
That part.
On that note, let's go into our special segment.
Yay!
All right. So, as always, we're talking about witchcraft, sorcerers, and dragons. The main topics, the magic, that I thought about when I was watching this episode were astrology, harmonic convergence, and fortune telling. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about was fortune telling. So, it's a practice of divination specifically used by it was specifically linked to the Romani people, which is another name for them would be gypsies, but that name is now derogatory and out of fashion. Do not use that. They're Romani. But they were known for using divination during the time of Renaissance magic. I Ching in the 19th and 20th century were also something from more of a Western Eastern culture of divination. And then also, for all you pop culture fans, the magic 8-ball is, I think, most people's relation to divination magic at this time is being able to shake the ball and say, will this happen to me? Will this be my life? Maybe that's just for all the 90 kids. Maybe you young and
These are the best, dude.
Yes, the magic 8-ball was where it was
I really
at.
believe that. I still believe that.
Yes, don't believe it. It breaks all the time. But fortune telling was just something that I really saw in terms of the Marcus sisters being a part of this episode. I also want to touch just briefly on astrology. So astrology has been around since about the 2nd millennium BCE. There are various versions of astrology throughout many cultures and throughout history. It's mainly based on the calendrical systems to predict seasonal shifts and interpret celestial cycles and divine communications. So it really, when you think about it, it was initially used for figuring out when to grow your harvest or when to do this. And then when we got into ships, it would be used to, to find the Orion or find the mark of the Taurus or whatever, just to figure out where you were steering. And from that, we also have a magical element to it where we think about, oh my God, I'm a Taurus with a Leo rising and a Leo moon, and this is my life, and this is sky compatible with me. And now you know all my horoscope signs. I am a Taurus with a Leo rising and a Leo moon.
Yes.
Sorry to be that crazy girl. There's also a really great episode of Bullshit on Showtime where they talk about the history of astrology and how it doesn't quite sync up because the world has shifted, and so the way that they looked at astrology back in the day no longer coincides with how the world works now. And then lastly, I want to talk about harmonic convergence, which is something that they say happens one every 10,000 years, but I found various different ways of how harmonic convergence happens. Is basically when all of the planets align into a straight line along with the sun. So that's what they consider harmonic convergence, and it's also if you're mystical, believe it's when the spirit portals can open on the North and South Poles. So there's also a thing that happened in the 80s, because of course, called the Harmonic Convergence. It was a global peace meditation that occurred on August 16th and 17th from 1987, or in 1987. I also think this is like probably a basis for the film Us, if you know what I'm talking about. It seems like that might have been a part of it.
Holy I think you're right.
Yeah. But also, harmonic convergence is something that most likely happens every 2,000 years, 500 to 2,000 years, where the planets will fall into alignment. Sometimes certain planets fall into alignment at a certain time. The next time that will happen is actually 2040, where it's Venus, Mercury, Earth, and Mars will be in alignment. So now you know. All right, well, that wraps up this episode of The Magicians on AfterBuzz TV. Thank you all so much for tuning in. But actually, before I wrap it up, let's go into a quick prediction.
Ooh.
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Okay, so I wonder if it was just, you know how in Hamilton, what's his name, Lafayette and Jefferson were played by the same character. I wonder if Sir Effingham and the Dark King is the same similar
people?
situation. Yeah. Or if it matters, like, are they connected, the same people, or are they just using him as an actor for both? I want to find out.
Well, maybe Sir Effingham is the Dark King from the past, because that's how he was able to meet Julia, and 300 years into the future, he makes a wish and becomes Sir.
I need a
becomes the Dark
timeline.
King. It's rough. I know. I don't know. I think that he's somebody's child. That's my prediction. I think that Margo and Finn and Josh are going to have a falling out that causes kind of a collapse, but everything will come together because everyone's going to be together for this quest. Okay. That was quick predictions. Now, I'm Adrienne Snow. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Adrienne Snow. And Stephanie, where can they follow you?
I'm Steph Sabra. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabra.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, Ty will be here next week to take over the reins from my sick butt. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next Thursday.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.